I hope you've enjoyed this video so far. Thank you so much for your nice comments on my first vlog and also my Nosferatu review. I'm really enjoying getting into YouTube and making more videos, so I'm really glad that some of you are enjoying it. So for the end of this video, I thought I would just go through some books that I've read recently, but also I'm going to go through some items I recently got from Japan. I went to Japan last year in October to November. I never shared some of the things I bought, even though there were some of you that were interested in that. And also my sister just came back from her trip over the new year, and I asked her to pick me up some things which I've already shown in this video, so I'll get into that soon. This teacup though is not from Japan. It's from one of my favorite brands, Petals and Poison, who I am so grateful to work with. Love everything that they make. I'll pop the details of this in the description. But I'm going to start off with some books that I've read recently. So you probably saw in my other vlog that I was reading this. Obviously I'm a huge Dracula fan, so there are so many Dracula retellings though that I don't get that excited when they come out, but I kept seeing this one everywhere. So we read this one in my Patreon book club. I ended up giving this one a 3.5. I did not have super high expectations just because even though I was excited to read this, I think on Instagram and TikTok, books can get overhyped like movies. So I'm very wary when I read any book that's being recommended a lot of times on there. It started off really well, kind of just dragged on. It's pretty long. It's nearly 450 pages long, which is not the longest book I've ever read, but I thought maybe it could probably be half the size for me. There's different points of views that I think were unnecessary. I think it's worth reading if you're a Dracula fan. If you've read this book, let me know what you thought of it. I got my Kindle as a gift a few years ago before I went to study overseas, which was really handy. I was also always kind of like a bit snobby towards ebooks, but I do not feel that way anymore now. I really like using an e-reader for books that I'm not sure about, or maybe I don't want to buy a copy of because I'm not sure if I like it. This is a really cool case that was sent to me by Clever Case. That's with a K. I'll link them below. And it's got like my name on it. I like this vintage kind of look. It looks really nice when I put it with my other vintage hardcovers. Like it blends in really well, which is really cool. So our book on my Patreon book club for January was Vicious, which was recommended by one of our members. We always vote on what we'll read, and this one won for January. I have read Gallant. That was another book that I felt was super hyped and did not live up to my expectations. It was okay, but not my favorite book ever. This, though, really surprised me. But I really liked this book. It was not what I expected at all. I've seen it around a lot. I know it's a book that a lot of people love, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I know there's a sequel. I really don't like reading series, mostly. But I would like to read the sequel to this eventually because the ending was really good. For the past few years, I've set myself reading goals every year. However, as each year passes, I take it less seriously and try not to put too much pressure on myself. Having said that though, this year I would like to read more than I did last year. I did a lot of rereads last year, which is fine. I always reread my favorite books, but I want to read more new books this year. So there are a lot of books on my TBR pile. And a lot of books that I've bought, I'll admit, that I have not read yet. I just started reading Perfume by Patrick. I'm not going to try to say his last name because I know I'm going to say it incorrectly. This is a pretty popular book, so maybe you've already heard of it or you've seen the movie. I don't know if there's only just one adaptation, but I know there's one that's quite famous. So this is a book that I have wanted to read for a long time, and I know that it's a pretty dark book. Obviously, it's called Perfume, the Story of a Murderer. Seems like there's some gothic vibes to it, so I'm really keen to check it out, as I would like to read more contemporary gothic books this year. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know, because over the last few years I've really just focused on the classics, which is obviously a great starting point if you're getting into the genre, because that's where everything began. But I would like to read some new ones. I have read some new ones. Some have disappointed me. I can't really think off the top of my head what is a new one that I've really enjoyed, but I've read a lot of gothic books, as I've mentioned before, so there will be some for sure. I have just read a few chapters of this book and I'm really enjoying it so far. It does seem pretty dark and I think the writing is great. So I'm interested to finish this and then watch the movie. I am very much somebody who will try to read the book first and then watch the movie, because when I've done it the other way around, I don't know, the experience is, it's just not as good. So I will let you know when I finish this one. I've also just started reading this book, Buffalo Hunter. I believe it is a vampire book and it was already on my list for this year with a bunch of other books, which I'll pop up here. This book isn't out yet. It's coming out in a few months, I believe. I was very luckily sent the e-arc. So I've just started reading this one and I've only read, again, 1 or 2 chapters, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It seems like a very unique book, so I'm excited to see how this one goes. So now I'm going to get into some of the items that I've gotten recently from Japan. So one of the things I've already shown in this video is some new jewelry that I got from Japan. When I went, over the last few years, I've predominantly been wearing gold jewelry, but for some reason I just felt like switching to silver after I got back. And then I realized that in Japan, the silver and even stainless pieces are a lot better quality and a lot cheaper than here. Got some new rings. I really like these big statement kind of pieces. And I've never worn rings on my thumbs before, but she got me some and they were just too big and that was the only fingers that they fit on. So I'm enjoying like just really decking myself out at the moment. Just some other quite plain ones as well. I also got the armor rings the last time I went, and I did see the Vivienne Westwood ones there. I saw some secondhand ones, and I also went into the store in Harajuku, but they were way out of my budget. So I would like to get one eventually. Now's not the time though, but I did just pick up some plain ones, a gunmetal one and the silver, and they've been pretty good quality. Again, like with the rings that I've gotten from Japan, I found that because they're stainless, obviously they won't make your fingers green. The other 2 rings I'm wearing today are from Regal Rose. I bought myself these in the Black Friday sale because I really wanted a signet ring and I like that it's got the D on there for my name. I got a lot of necklaces as well. I got a few chunky chains. I've been wearing a lot of these recently. This I really liked. It's got some kind of crosses on it. This one as well, which is like a double cross that I wore in this video. I don't know, I feel like maybe like back in my Tumblr days I used to wear a lot of crosses and I just kind of stopped wearing them, but I've been getting back into them now. If you are a fan of the manga, anime or movies Nana, you will recognize this. So to provide some context, in this series, one of the main characters who's in a punk band, his girlfriend Nana gives him this necklace, the padlock with an R, which is for his name Ren. And this is a nod to Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols, who they really like. And that ties into Vivienne Westwood, which is probably where my like for the brand comes from, because I do like the Sex Pistols and Nana, and the characters in Nana, a lot of them will wear Vivienne Westwood items, like this character Nana. There are 2 Nanas, that's why it's called Nana. The girlfriend of Ren, she has the armor ring, which is again where my love for that item comes from, because that's one of my favorite series. Which brings me to my next item. My sister got this for me on her trip. When we went, I really wanted a pair of earrings, but I just couldn't find any that I liked. So she found me this when she went. I just wanted a pair of plain silver earrings with the orb. If you know Vivienne Westwood, you'll know that most or a lot of the items are brass, which some people do consider a bit crazy because, you know, it's not something that is of great quality, but that is the way her jewelry's always been, I believe, because it's considered costume jewelry. But this is sterling silver, so I thought it would be great. However, I had a little bit of a lost in translation moment and I have accidentally bought a single stud. I didn't know that Vivienne Westwood does single studs, and now I do, so lesson learned. And my sister did confirm with the salesperson that it would be 2, and we thought they had confirmed there would be, and we didn't check, but yes, I have bought 1 earring. I did consider just wearing this on its own. I don't know if you can see though, but it's pretty big. I probably wouldn't have bought this if I was there in person because it is a bit bigger than I would usually like for an earring. and I think it looks a bit funny just wearing it by itself, but that's okay. To remedy this, I've just bought myself another earring the same because I just think it looks weird on its own. So a little bit of an expensive mistake for me. I'm looking forward to wearing the other one when I get it. Another Vivienne Westwood item I got this myself when we went is this bag. The main thing I wanted to buy when I went on my trip was a Vivienne Westwood bag. I believe this is a men's bag, but I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I shop menswear a lot. Actually, I did that a lot in Japan. And yeah, I really like this bag. I feel like it's pretty me because it's red and black. And I bought this little blood bag keychain at a random store in Osaka to put on. Not really a designer girl. I don't really care about luxury brands much, but as I mentioned before, Vivienne Westwood is a bit special to me because of the tie to music and also Nana. And it's also pretty hard to find over here, especially secondhand items. This condition, the thing with thrifting in Japan for secondhand items, and not just luxury but just regular items too, is that they really care about quality, and everybody there seems to really look after things. So sometimes you will find something that is pretty cheap because it will have a minor defect, which is a big deal over there, but for other countries like here it wouldn't be a problem. And I've noticed that a lot when I've been thrifting back home, that you will see a lot of items here that are ridiculously destroyed or have stains on a clothing item or something, but it'll still be quite expensive. So I think Japan has kind of ruined thrifting for me now. Another item I've showed in this video, I stopped wearing fragrances like maybe 10 years ago and switched to body oils or like solid perfumes, but I recently just again like randomly just started getting into fragrances. Maybe it's TikTok influencing me, but this is a perfume that I smelled when I was in Tokyo and I really liked it, so I asked my sister to pick it up for me. This brand is Korean, I think. I really like oud, like smoky scented things, and this is really smoky, so I really like it. It is just an EDT, and when I sprayed it on the card it lasted so long. That's why I asked her to go back and get it for me. Unfortunately though, on the skin, no, it does not last, but that's okay. It's just sort of an everyday fragrance for me at the moment. Thanks so much for watching this video and joining me for this. I really hope you enjoyed it. Also, I'd like to say a huge thank you as always to my Patreon members for supporting me and being part of our community. As I mentioned, I will be going away next week, so I will be making a vlog of that trip and what I get up to. I'd also like to keep sharing at the end of these some of my favorite things and what I'm reading lately. I'll see you next time. Bye!